Hello to you all. Welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast. It's a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures each and every day right here in the Impact Power Sports Studio. Impact Power Sports in beautiful Rockford, Michigan. Not like in the downtown area, kind of like in the Hilljack area, if there is such a thing. Closer to Greenville than downtown Rockville. Downtown Rockford. 14 Mile Road is where they are at. Online at impactpowersportsmi.com. If you're in the market for perhaps a golf cart, Yamaha golf cart. People love those Yamaha golf carts, either gas or electric. Not to mention motorcycles, go-karts, e-bikes, scooters, whatever you want. They have it all at Impact Power Sports, online at impactpowersportsmi.com. Thank you for being here. I've gotten more than one bit of reconnaissance about another free beer HR violation. Chris K said, yeah, he was body shaming Maitland again. He oftentimes will attack her about her breasts on the air. And whatever. And so I guess it was described to me as Chris K sent along a text because I was like, oh, well, boy, I wonder what happened there. He said they were taking one of those dumb quizzes, which just sound ridiculous when read. Are you a knife, fork, or a spoon? After a bunch of conversation, Freeberg got around to calling her a flat spoon. Bob follows up with similar comment while saying that Freebeer used to like being argumentative and starting random fights with people back in the day. Freebeer continued to argue that he doesn't anymore, and Hot Wings said that kind of trait doesn't disappear like Freebeer's testosterone has. And that was right after what I wrote, or what Chris said was right after what, so that happened, and then what Chris said happened. I guess I don't get it. Freebeer said I don't pick random fights with people. Okay. Freebeer continued to argue that he doesn't anymore, and Hot Wings then said that kind of trait doesn't disappear like Freebeer's testosterone has. I don't think his testosterone has disappeared. I think it's higher than ever. I mean, he's got like so much testosterone now. He's a man's man. So maybe I'm misunderstanding that joke line there. I'm sure you wrote it out fine. I just don't understand that because Greg's made it very clear that he is a man's man. Megan says, yeah, you can tell by that bitchin' tattoo. Well, that and all of the nonstop sex that he has. Murder lover Linda says, doesn't testosterone contribute to muscle tone? He has none. Bob says hair loss. Yeah, I don't know, man. It sounds like you guys are going hard on Freebeer today, and I don't know why you're doing that. I would never dream of that. Speaking of which, we busted out another rip-roaring edition of Who Are These Freebeers yesterday, and we do not, I know it sounds ridiculous, but we do not set out, we don't start that show, Ben Glaze and myself, by saying, hey, let's just go after Freebeer. It just happens that way. In fact, all of Ben Glaze's clips were Freebeer related, and then most of mine were, and then at the end I parked on a different topic, and it's becoming harder and harder to find clips. I mean, you actually have to. Freebeer is the low-hanging fruit on that show. And I think that Ben and I are actually going to have, our work is cut out for us because we're going to have to start to discern and filter out some of the free beer points that are, I mean, they're immensely entertaining to park on. But it's almost like we could every show just do it for free beer only. There is a moment that we featured in Who Are These Free Beers yesterday that I'm going to play for you right now. And all this is a supercut of what's known as Free Beers 9/11. On Tuesday of this past week, the poor guy just could not stop stumbling and bumbling and fumbling over the things he was saying. And it was an onslaught of these word scrambles and gaffes and made up words and and blah, blah, blah. And I featured it in a supercut fashion. Now, I already have a supercut of free beer doing this, and it goes for about 1:30. Well, in a span of 10, 20 minutes, he did like 10 more. And this is how that sounded.
A 34-year-old Nan Main. Nope. Named Florida. Nope. 2:30 on set. Nope. He wanted to sing Linger from the Carrie from. Nope. He did what anyone do it. Nope. That's not what Dolores Riordan died for. Nope. That one was on purpose. Nope. We'll explain next on. Nope. April and Traveler. Nope. More than 20 years of successful. Nope.
Holy shit. What an onslaught of awesomeness. So I don't know. I'm anxious to see where the next week takes us. Greg's take is back. He says painful. Starman 314 is here. I found out just yesterday that Starman 314 comes from a radio background as well. So does Greg's take. Greg's take's with us. He signed up yesterday. Radio background for him. Did you say by chance, Greg's take, what city and state you're in? I'm always interested when new people come in. You know, we have generally a similar amount of people each show. Greg's in Nashville, Tennessee. Music City. How about that? Great town. Wonderful town. Best steak I ever had in my life was in Nashville, Tennessee at a restaurant they have these in several towns, but it's called The Palm. And I don't know if it's still there anymore. This is the type of restaurant that you go to, and it's super expensive. But I was there with Pooh Bear. We were like splurging, hanging out in Nashville, and my God, incredible steak. All right. As we get going here, the basketball tournament is underway. And I didn't watch shit. I didn't watch anything. I don't care to watch anything. If there's anything worth watching, I'll watch it on a replay. I am not committed to watching any of it. I am committed to not watching it. First of all, I don't have any time to do anything. All right, so for sure this weekend I will watch none of it, the opening weekend, because today takes me through a day of radio arts or podcasting, broadcasting, arts and crafts, and radio. I mean, I've already done 2 radio shows today. The Morning Insane Asylum on Q100, and then my voice tracking for iHeart's Big 101.3 here in Grand Rapids. But all of these stuff that I do off of the podcast has to be taken care of. I need to post the audio versions of Who Are These Free Beers in the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. But then I have a hockey game tonight to PA. And then tomorrow I have a noon basketball game and a nighttime hockey game. The crew at Van Andel Arena has to change over from basketball to hockey. That's a tall order. I'll do all that, and then Saturday or Sunday get up and go see my dad. Traveling across the state. More on that in a second. Starman says, what is 101.3's format nowadays? Well, that's a big 101.3, the fun hits you know. That's a clever way of saying playing the same songs over and over again. And they're all old. So essentially this is like a classic hits station or an oldies station. You know, Motown, maybe some Harry Chapin, some Jim Croce, and then just to keep you honest, Aerosmith. They'll play Sweet Emotion, a lot of Elton John, and I think probably the artist we play most is Billy Joel. You'll get some Bob Seger in there. Yeah. Starman says, I started at that station when it was CUZ, and then I was there when it went to the Fox. Yeah, I was at the Fox, too, near the end of its time. After I got blown out of Cumulus, I was doing this podcast, and iHeart reached out to me and said, hey, how about you do weekends on 101.3? Well, actually, at the time, it was known as The Brew. They changed it from the Fox to The Brew. So there I am. I'm like, oh, it's my comeback. I'm coming back, man. Bob says 97.5, The Tariff, features Kid Rock triple shots every hour. I love that station. 97.5, The Tariff. It's great. So then I I'm voice tracking on this radio station, 101.3, The Brew. Now, every one of these studios has the capability to voice track. So in case you don't know, you hit a button, you hear the last 5 seconds of a song, you talk, and then you hit the button and the next song starts. You can get 5 hours of broadcasting done in a very short amount of time. The problem with this is I'm not that good at pressing the right buttons to make that a reality at this particular time of broadcast. When I would go into these, it's like a new setup, and there's like a troubleshooting list. You got to push this, that, the other. So I'm going over it, and I think I'm right on the buttons that I have to push. So then I'll hit the button and I'll start doing my thing, and I have an uneasy feeling that there's something wrong. It was like Spider Sense, but I didn't listen to it, and then I would flub a word, so I'd want to start it over, and then typically with me, I would flub the word, and I go, God damn it, and then I click it. Oh shit, fuck. Damn it. Shit. Fuck. Fucking shit. Fuck. Think you know where this is going? My phone rings, and it's the boss. This is, by the way, a random time of the day when I was going into voice track this show. And I pick it up. Hey, Dave, why are you swearing on the air? That feeling. And then while I'm saying, yeah, Dave, even that's going out over the air. So going out over the air, they hear shit, fuck, shit, fuck. Yeah, Dave. They hear that. Or, hey, Dave. And then they hear, I am? And then he goes, turn off your mic. So then I turn off the mic. Oh, my God. Starman says that studio was great when the Grand Rapids Grand Prix was going on, but if you open the window, it was so GD loud. Yeah, I don't recall a Grand Rapids Grand Prix. That's going back. Amanda says, holy shit balls. Starman says you had a Cackley moment. That, of course, the Dave Cackley, who just yesterday we talked about that. Dave Cackley, all of Grand Rapids that carry his traffic reports heard, holy shit balls. Oh, God, it was great. I posted about that. Dave weighed in, and he said, you could have at least posted a picture where I didn't look like I'm 100 years old. Stevie says the Grand Rapids Grand Prix was a joke. Wasn't it only around 1 year? That sounds like fun, though. Greg Stake says, give him a promotion to program director. All right. I love that there's radio people that are in here. A few. Thank you. 2 years they did the Grand Prix. It was something else. Modified Corvettes doing 140 over the Fulton Street Bridge. Yeah, that sounds cool. They should bring that shit back. That's what they're doing to this town. This is turning into like quite an arrangement here. They're building this amphitheater, and it looks terrific. Oh my God! Right along this, the Grand River, which is was kind of underutilized through this downtown area, but somebody finally figured out that people like to congregate and be on water, or near water or looking at water. So what they did when they built the stupid city years ago was, instead of actually doing what is smart and putting restaurants and things to do along the river, like a river walk to some degree, they put like all of the city services buildings and the place where you put the road salt, and you like scoop it into the trucks, and all the city service vehicles are there, and the snow plows and shit like that. Amanda says they put the manufacturing buildings there. That's why it's called the Furniture City, dumbass. Well, you see, it's nice responses like that are pretty much going to guarantee that you will never be loved by a man. But that's beside the point. You're also wrong. The city put all of their municipal things there along the city, which was a huge mistake on their part. So there you go. Anyway, they ended up getting all that shit out of there, thank God, in order to build this amphitheater. So now it's like awesome. It's going to be awesome. Plus, they're building a soccer stadium, which I will never go to unless if I'm working there. The only soccer I'm interested in is Michigan Rangers. That's the best soccer there is. If they were smart, they would put the Michigan Rangers in there. All right. So we are rolling now. With all of this happening, going to see my father on Sunday. I'm excited about that, and this is kind of turning into an adventure. It's going to be easy. It's going to be Madison, Jackie, Justin, Dog going to see Dad, and maybe a bunch of other family members. So I have volunteered to make the food for this endeavor. And what I'm thinking about doing and going to see my 91-year-old father lately on my, you look at Reels or TikTok when you go to bed. I have been watching all these people make amazing recipes. And there's one in particular that I have my mind, I'm leaning towards. And that is it's a bowl of mashed potatoes with fried chicken breast cut into strips on top of it with cheese and bacon, like a bowl, a chicken potato bowl. Maybe something you'd get at like Arby's. And this thing might set a record for satisfaction. And so I'm beginning the preparations for this meal now. And this is going to be a fantastic day with a lot going on. Drop the dogs off at doggy daycare, which I just found out this information. This is big. Years ago, this sweet lady named Lisa came walking up to me at Jenison High School. It was a school activity, and I forget why she was there. It might have been for, I might have been hosting something, and this adorable little redhead comes walking up to me, sassy as all get out, and she says, "Eric Zane." I go, "Hello." And she says, "I want to watch your dogs." I go, "You do, huh? Why?" She goes, "Because I live by you, and I do a great job at watching dogs, and you should come to my place, to my doggy daycare." I go, "All right. I think I will." So now that was like 20 years ago, and it's been awesome. She's the best. Free plug. Doggone Spoiled Dog Care. Doggone is one word. LLC in Jenison, Michigan. Most of her clients, I have learned over time, want to kick my ass. Megan says, say it one more time, please. Doggone. Doggone. Doggone Spoiled Dog Care. Does it out of her home in Jenison. Probably not far from where you're at, Megan. As time passed, when I was working with my pal Steve started taking his dogs there. And then I found out, as even more time passed, Steve's buddy, who has not yet told Steve about his criminal past, Kyle, also takes his dogs there. Then I found out, because our beloved friend Kelly Cheese was talking on the radio, she had a doggy DNA party, and she talked about the people she invited, and she said two names that I was like, oh. She said, yeah, the lady and her husband who watched my dogs and gave their names, they were there too. And I'm like, holy shit. So that means that there is a possibility that one day I may be dropping off my 4 dogs, and this gaggle of people are going to be there, or at least some of them. Holy shit. Patrick says, I've heard of Kyle. Isn't he a pedo? Megan says, I don't want my dog hanging out with Kyle's dog. Well, I don't know how often those dogs go there. I guess it's possible that they could hang out. I don't think you should blame the dog, though, for any type of indiscretion that may have been on display over the years. God, by the way, can my face look any fatter? God damn it. And the thing is, I'm losing weight, but it's just not falling off of my face. I hate this. Molly's here with the first Eric Zane is a pedophile joke. Good morning was easy spraying the kids down at the pool again yesterday. It is definitely not warm enough for the pool. The cover is still on it. Shut up, woman. Anyway, I totally digressed again, and you'll find that I do that all the time. Cole says you didn't answer the pedo question, Zane. You just read it. Wait a minute. Before I get into this talk about the tournament, I should add that Starman has a father. His stepfather is a famous radio guy. But I'm not going to say who it is until he tells me to say it. I don't even know who Starman is. I just know that Starman's stepfather is a famous radio guy in Grand Rapids. And unless he tells me to, I'm not going to say who. And when I was communicating with him off of the podcast yesterday, I didn't even get his name. So I don't know his name. I just know that Starman grew up watching Stepdad do radio and was the biggest thing in this city until we showed up and beat his ass. Nice guy, from what I'm told. But he had no chance. Adam says, Rick Beckett. No. Starman says it will be interesting to see if anyone here knows me. Well, you should give us, like, your name on the air. That's what you should do, because I don't even know that. You were on the air in Grand Rapids, Michigan for a period of time. But Starman's father is Reese Rickard from Neil and Reese fame. It was Neil Dion and Reese Rickard. I say Rickard, not Rickards, right? That is Starman's stepfather with an S, Reese Rickards. When we showed up in Grand Rapids, I will never forget it. It took us about a year and a half to actually make any headway on the air in terms of ratings. But GRD was a dumpster fire because of Michael Gray. If Michael Gray is on the air, you have no ratings. He is the least qualified radio person that has ever radio personed. He's a disaster. He always has been. Every time Michael Gray was on the air and about to get fired, I had to go and clean up his mess. And that's what we did when we got hired on to GRD. When they gave us our bonuses, the structure, they said, all right, if you get fourth place, you get this much money. If you get third place, you get this much money. And if you get second place, you get the most money you can make in your quarterly ratings performance bonuses. And we said, well, why is it up to 2 and not up to 1? And they said, we're doing that for your benefit because you will never achieve number 1. Ever. Really? Why? What's going on? Well, that's Neil and Reese. And they have an 8 million share, and you will never defeat them on this radio station in this demographic, no matter what you say or what you do. Okay. So we then started doing our show, and eventually the ratings started to cook. And, yeah, we absolutely overtook them. And we have that show, time slot, Morning Drive on GRD, has been number 1 since probably the middle of 05 or 06. And that was because of what we built. Greg says, just 18 months to spank that ass. First, we beat Bob and Tom, who they had no business beating us in 18-34. But we kicked their ass. And then we just kept going up. And then that was it. I don't know how the show now is able to maintain that, but they do. No matter what we say or do, they are still number 1 with a bullet. And I don't know how, because it's a huge pile of shit, and everybody knows that. Starman says he worked with Michael Gray at KOQ. Michael Gray now is on the air in Montana. He lives in like a Unabomber cabin. Amanda says, which one has passed? I don't know. I know Reese Rickards has not passed because Starman, that is his stepfather. Is Neil Dion dead? Beckett's dead. Let's see. I don't think he's dead. I don't know how I could look it up. Profile for Neil Dion. No, I think he's still with us. I don't know for sure because it says he took a job back in, I don't know, his Facebook post is not, his Facebook page doesn't really update. Fuck, I don't know. I never listened to him. I don't know. I know we just beat their ass, and then that's what happened. I wonder if Starman is aware. Beckett is dead. Patrick says Zane sent Michael Gray out to exile. Want to talk about radio assholes? Neil Dion rivaled Tony Gates. Wait, are you saying Neil Dion or are you saying Beckett? I don't know. Shit. What the fuck? Starman says, I'm pretty sure Neil is still kicking too. And Neil, I guess, was an asshole. Chris K, is Scott Winter still on the air in Grand Rapids? I don't think so. I don't think so. They've all kind of filtered away. Molly says, I'm going to lurk for 20 minutes. Well, that's a damn good thing. We need to have you here. All right. Round one. We have one day of ESPN tournament bracket madness. As usual, I am doing awesome, and I hope to not watch any games. As you can see right here, I am in third place. I'm tied for third after one round. But out of all the people that are ahead of me, none of them have a max potential points of 1890 like I do. Several people are tied for third, though. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people are tied for third. Michigan barely beat some shitbox team last night. It doesn't matter who. UC, San Diego, or something like that. They barely got by this loser team. Michigan State plays tonight late. Who's in last? Trayson, Eagles staff, super fan, only has 90 points. Ben Glaze is a pile of shit. He only has 100 points. Chris Perry in Buffalo, this dumbass, he didn't turn his picks in. He's already wiped out somehow. My God. Okay. Productivity lost during the workday. Rick Beckett passed 16 years ago. I heard stories about that guy when he had the thirst, because my boss at the time would describe how he would be intoxicated while on the air, or he would come to the radio station after a long night of drinking and be sleeping, passed out in the lobby of the radio station. Then people are coming to work, like stepping over the guy. Yeah, he lived hard and fast. That's kind of a thing with radio people, too. Rachel Gray writes, if you were listening to traffic yesterday, you heard what was accidentally aired on 105.3 Hot FM. We will be playing it back edited this morning. We are still laughing, by the way. We all make mistakes, occasionally at work, with some big, some small. Tell us your major screw-up at work. I need to feature the clip that Ben Glaze sent to me yesterday of because Dave Cackley accidentally said shit balls on the air when he was doing the traffic, which that sounds fantastic. I'm going to feature that right now so you can hear the apology. I don't have the actual moment that he said shit balls and it went out over all the radio stations, but like they go to commercial break after. And this is how the multi-talented Rachel and Rob Sparks weighed in on it yesterday.
I wanted to take a moment and say, hey, we're really sorry about that if you had anybody in the car that is obviously offended.
Yeah, it's not who we are. It's not what we do.
No, It is not what we do. Normally, that would never.
When you say that's not who we are and that's not what we do, that's usually because somebody said Heil Hitler or, say no to gay people or something like that, or said the N-word. You don't say that's not who we are, that's not what we do, because somebody accidentally said shit balls. That is not a huge deal.
I wanted to take a moment and say, hey, we're really sorry about that if you had anybody in the car that is obviously offended.
Yeah, it's not who we are. It's not what we do.
No, It is not what we do. Normally, that would never.
Yeah, I think that this response is worse than the accident that happened because they're actually so aggressively, profusely begging for forgiveness. And there isn't one person who heard that is offended. And this is the problem with radio. One of the many problems that radio has. There is a disconnect between the broadcasters and the audience. It was written on the subreddit, these radio 1937 Puritan responses are so ridiculous.
I wanted to take a moment and say, hey, we're really sorry about that if you had anybody in the car that is obviously offended.
Yeah, it's not who we are. It's not what we do.
No, It is not what we do. Normally, that would never happen on this show. And thank you to Morgan Valley, Gina, and Matt, who are all texting in that they.
That is Ben Glaze's sweet better half.
Have tears in their eyes right now. Let's just say
so the audience is laughing.
I have poop in my pants.
That's exactly where I was about to go with that.
Because let me be clear, when that aired, I thought I was going to die. And I didn't get the dump button fast enough because I didn't even hear it. Rob and I were in here yakking. So what I will say is, oh my God, I am so sorry.
Dear God.
Please forgive us. And we're going to give you a chance to win something with the hot seat coming up. And I wanted to take.
Part of me wants to, no, I don't want to do it because we're still on the air. Call one of the other show. I want to talk to somebody about that. I want to talk to Cackley about this is what I want. I need to hear from the guy who did it. Because if that were me, if I'm on the air, I'm going to get Dave on the air and throw him under the bus. You know? All right. I'm going to try to get Michelle on here because sweet Megan is encouraging me to do just that. I don't know if she'll pick up. Aram says, was that Michelle? No, that was Rachel. Rachel Gray.
Hi, you've reached Michelle McCormick.
That's not working. Let's see if I can get Greg Henson on. Part of the same radio cluster that I used to work for. Chris says, you can't say poop on the air. Corey says, they say that. They think saying shit balls is the same level of crime as genocide. Genocide confirmed. Genocide, idiot. Okay, that's 2 people that are ignoring me. Let's try to get Travis on here. And again, this is the most interesting thing that's happened to radio.
Hello, sir.
Nobody wants to talk to me on my podcast.
What's that?
I said nobody wants to talk to me on my podcast.
Oh, no?
Yeah, you're on. You're on right now.
I'm on right as we speak.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What do you need to know?
I called Michelle. I called Greg. They ignored me. Everyone ignores me because I'm such a loser.
Greg never answers his phone, and Michelle's doing something with her 90-year-old parents today.
Travis Gibbs is the man behind the machine at LAV. And he is on the radio morning drive with Michelle and Greg with Travis. Did you actually hear the bad words said on the air yesterday?
I heard of it. I didn't hear it on our station per se. I heard that it happened.
Okay.
And then, you know when something like that happens, it's like code red, like break the glass, pull the lever, everybody figure out what's happening.
Right. Thank God that Lori wasn't there. You don't have to comment on this, but she would have made everybody throw themselves on the sword for that deal.
I'm not going to comment, but you're not right, but you're not wrong.
I will say this. It was interesting listening to your sweet coworker Rachel, and then and sweet Rob too. They were like, oh my God, they had this huge apology on the air. Did you guys have to apologize?
No, because it didn't even I don't think it even aired on our station. We caught it before it actually happened on our station.
I was under the impression that because Cackley's on iHeart as well.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, no.
So I texted the boss over at iHeart. I go, hey, did Cackley say shit balls on the air? And no one got back to me. No one even acknowledges me anymore. I'm such a loser.
You're not a loser. You're one of the staples in the community.
Oh, come on. All right. Hey, you want hockey tickets for tonight?
So I'm actually bartending tonight at my Polish hall. So you think you're a loser?
No. Hey, that's been a thing that you do all the time.
Yeah. Listen, man. I like to think I'm one of the voices for the Polish community. So
hey, man, I love that you take pride in your heritage. Is this at? Are you at which hall? Is it Kosciuszko?
No, I'm a member at that one, but I'm bartending tonight at the Polish Falcons over on the west side of
the
Grand
Falcons,
Rapids.
Of course. All right.
Oh, yeah. Lots of basketball on tonight there.
Who do you have winning this whole thing? Travis Gibbs.
You're going to hate this opinion if you're following along with basketball. It's Duke. I mean, everybody's picking Duke. I think Duke's by far and away the best team. They have by far and away the best player. My national championship game is Duke and Michigan State, and Duke is winning.
I picked Duke as well.
Man, that kid that they have, Cooper Flagg, he's really good. That team's really good. They just blow the doors off of everybody, it seems like, when they're healthy. And they're finally getting healthy again. So,
have you been following the story about the The team McNeese State.
Oh, the basketball manager that wears like the speaker around his chest when they come out to play.
Right. Yes, I do. He's like the biggest thing going. They upset Clemson yesterday.
To go from what he was before he was the basketball manager at McNeese State to what he is now, I've never seen anybody have that type of ascension.
Right. I mean, he was just a guy who would get the rebounds and pick up the sweatpants.
Listen, before he got to McNeese State, he was playing Fortnite in his bedroom.
Okay, so he's really embracing this whole thing too. I love that.
Listen, I hate to be the guy that assumes things, but he looks like that type. He looks like the type that has Mountain Dew bottles maybe with his urine in his bedroom because he's too busy to get up and go to the bathroom, and he plays a lot of video games.
I know it, and I think that the players acting like they like him is hilarious. They don't want to hang out with that booger eater.
Right. I know one of them was wearing socks with his picture, with his face all over.
Well, yeah, the cheerleaders were doing that.
Oh, boy.
Which I wonder if they're going to give him a sniff.
Action.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to be able to chow down.
Yeah, no, not in a million years.
All right, yeah. Okay, hey, Travis, you're the best. We should do this more often.
Zane, you're one of my favorite people in this in the business. You're still in the business. Actually, you're ahead of a lot of people in the business.
Whatever it takes. I just do whatever they tell me to do.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Okay, see ya. There you go, Travis Gibbs. A little bit more on the shitballs radio incident. Greg's take says, has radio ownership and upper management been infiltrated by people afraid to offend anyone on the planet? Absolutely. These are HR companies with microphones. That's what they are. Which, by the way, Cumulus, which is the second largest radio company in America, they just shut off the power to several radio stations near here. Where I am in Grand Rapids is a middle radio market. There's a small radio market, Muskegon market as well, not far from here. So there's all these stations that they have in there, what's known as a cluster. So not profitable that they shut them off. I talked about this earlier this week. They turned the power off. They shut all the lights. Everybody walked out. There's no more broadcasting on that cluster. And the idea here that some people are thinking is that they will go ahead and sell the properties. And this is, the theory is that this is going to happen more and more. If you could look into a crystal ball, you would see radio companies with investors that are like, we need money. You need to pay us. They're going to start selling off the properties to pay these people. It's almost like a legal Ponzi scheme at this point. So then they'll sell the radio stations at a deep discount because they just got to get money for them. And what they're getting is tower sites, actual towers, call letters, what do you call it? Intellectual properties, the equipment, everything that goes with it, including the electric bill. And some are suggesting that that is a way for like local ownership groups to start over. However, most feel that it's too far gone. Alternative methods of broadcasting, like online, is so much more cost effective. The fact that any moron with a meager amount of equipment could do a broadcast like this nonsense is so much more accessible, easier to do, and less fucking headaches. And so I don't know if that's even going to work. And, young people are so infatuated with consuming things via their mobile device. I mean, it isn't just young people. It's just people now. Hell, I'm starting to feel like what I do here on Twitch is going the way of the dodo. But I don't know if I want to dive into having to adapt again. Greg's take says, remember the mystique that radio had. On-air talent was celebrity. The internet is amazing for this biz. Well, it's amazing for the people that do radio. Not so much for the biz. It's killed the biz. Jeremy says podcasts are worldwide. Radio stations are in a 50-mile radius. Why would anyone listen to a radio show for an hour when they can't listen anymore? For an hour before you can't listen anymore. Exactly. And the ads. The fact that in 60 minutes of an hour, 30 of it is broadcast. Is actual content. The other 30 minutes, it's all broadcast. The other 30 minutes are ads. What the fuck? Perfect opportunity for me to do some ads. Corey writes, you could go to Rumble so you can say the N-word. Yeah, no, I'm not really interested in saying the N-word. Thank you, though. I appreciate you looking out for me. Honestly, I am going to do some ads because I've been selling ads for this show since I started it almost 6.5 years ago. If you are in West Michigan, I'm encouraging you to get your hair cut at King's Room Barbershop. For more than 50 years, they've been cutting dudes and chicks who like short hair, their hair. Dudes' hair and chicks who like short hairs at King's Room Barbershop. There's 3 locations. Northland Drive, Caledonia, and at 821 36th Street in Wyoming, Michigan. For those of you who don't know, there's a Wyoming, Michigan. It's part of Grand Rapids. Anyway, kingsroom.net is their website. Go there for exact locations, hours of operation, and schedules. Because you're going to take a liking, a shine to the person who cuts your hair. And sometimes they travel to one or the other or the third location. You want to make sure you're at the right one. Andy cuts my hair. He is one half of the power couple, Andy and Colleen, that bring you King's Room Barbershop. Please mention my name when you go to King's Room Barbershop. I appreciate that. The car repair facility of choice is Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid, and EV. I'm not lying. Sometimes people take their cars to the dealership to get repaired. There could come a point where their knowledge is exhausted as to how to service the vehicle. It happens. When that happens, Irvine's gets a phone call from so-and-so Chevy, so-and-so Ford. We have a problem. Can you fix this? Yes, bring it in. They do that type of work. So knowing that, you should just take it to Irvine's. ervines.com. That's ervines.com. You can call 616-532-6600, and they will help you. Folks, when it comes to tree care, we trust Kuiper Tree Care here at the household. Here on the grounds for tree removal, stump grinding, tree trimming or pruning, tree risk assessment, in case the tree's sick or something like that, or you're wondering what the future holds for the tree, they can tell you because they have 3 certified arborists that are there. And they'll also do storm cleanup in case the shit hits a fan. Kuiper. Kuiper. KuiperTreeCare.com. You can also call or text to get an estimate, 616-828-8225. 616-828-8225. Please mention me. You should mention me whenever you call upon my sponsors. And thanks to Kuiper Tree Care, they just upgraded their marketing and signed on for another quarter with the show. Thank you, Ben, and everybody from Kuiper Tree Care. One more before I get back to your comments on the chat. Frank Fuss is the nationwide insurance agent / broker for the show. Now, if you need health care, but your boss doesn't offer it, or you're unemployed, or you're self-employed, you still need health care. You get it from healthcare.gov or Obamacare. So you can go to healthcare.gov and sit down and fill out the form if you want. That's one way of doing it. It takes forever. You're probably going to screw something up because there's a lot that can go wrong. How about Frank checks all the boxes for you in one short phone call, and he doesn't cost you a dime. His services are free. Frank Fuss from My Policy Shop Insurance, who is found at buyinsurancehere.com, buyinsurancehere.com. Go there, fill out the form. There's a spot there where you can write down that you heard about him on my show. It's a drop-down menu. It says, where'd you hear about me? And it says EZ Show. Click on that. And then Frank will get back a hold of you, and you can begin that process. He's also an expert on Medicare, Social Security planning, and life insurance. Buyinsurancehere.com. Jeremy writes, small mom and pop stations like Q100 are great, but sadly, they're not the norm anymore. Every format has such a regimented playlist that sucks all of the personality out of a station. Correct. So whether or not that can ever happen again, I don't know. Q100 10 years ago, 11 years ago, got into that realm of creating the radio station. 0 professional radio people on that station. I'm the first person on that station, on the air, who actually comes from a background of radio. Everybody else there was like people handpicked off the street. Not kidding. I take that back. The Roadrunner, it has radio experience, but the rest of the staff, no. Greg's Take writes, last time I turned on a car radio, a woman host said, young ladies, please quit trying to stop your period with a vacuum cleaner. I turned it off, and I didn't turn it back on. Wait a minute. I would have kept it on. Are you kidding me? That sounds like an interesting bit of language there. Women are trying to stop their periods with a vacuum cleaner? Fuck, I want to investigate that now, Greg. All right. I hate to do this, but I need to interrupt the fun because I have to go use the boys' room. You can stay here and hang out with the dogs for a minute, and I will be back. How does that sound? I appreciate you guys being here so much. Thank you. I'll be back. Sorry about the volume on that. All right, welcome back. Apparently, people have been vandalizing people's, what do you call it? Cybertrucks. Cybertrucks or any Tesla product. Bummer for our pal Free Beer, because in this past year he bought a Tesla Plaid. Those are great cars. Well, now that's what's happening. People hate Elon Musk. This is ridiculous. So then they walk up to like a Tesla and they'll destroy it or some shit like that. Stevie says, LOL, the subreddit Cyberstuck has some great photos of them. Now, all right, now I got to ask Stevie this question. If a Tesla is damaged, do you support that? Because that's ridiculous. You can't possibly think that that is a good thing. She's saying, yes, fuck Elon. Okay. Yeah, but these are people who've purchased them. You know, that's their property. They might not even support Elon Musk. They may have owned the merchandise before Elon, kind of went the route that he did. She writes, they support Elon. Fuck them too. Yeah, I don't know. This is a perfect example. This is an opportunity for me to again stand out as being like my own thing. If anyone ever tries to label me as one thing or another, as a Democrat, as a Republican, I am a absolute lone wolf. There is no one like me. No one. If you're a person like Stevie who says, I'm happy that people's products are merchandise is being destroyed, and good on the people who did it, that is ridiculous. That is an absurd point of view. Oh my God. That is as bad as anything. She writes that she supports Luigi too. Come on. You can't possibly support Luigi. My God. Nick points out what I tried to, and she's not listening. Most of these Teslas were bought before Elon was a thing in politics. Stupid libs forget that Tesla was at the forefront of their green pipe dream. More than one show audience member is Team Luigi. So is Rebecca. They support the murderer. Holy shit. What a mixed bag of people we have here. Cole says they're trying to support the planet and getting their property destroyed for it. Jeremy says, hashtag I'm with Rebecca. Stevie says, free the Menendez brothers. I don't know if that one's going to happen, by the way. I think that one is kind of like run out of steam. Well, anyway, people are destroying. The only one that I want destroyed is Free Beers. Free Beer, I hope someone actually destroys his vehicle. Except my hope is that he's in it when they do it, and they do it with about 900 pounds of TNT. That's what I'm hoping for. That, I think, is actually advantageous for everyone on the planet. Everyone should agree with me that there is only one Tesla that should be destroyed. Free beers with him in it. That needs to happen. I'm not going to lie. If that happened, I'm going to pump my fist.
The FBI launching an investigation into a string of attacks on Tesla vehicles, charging stations, and showrooms. In the case of several cars on fire in Las Vegas, the FBI says this could be considered an act of domestic terrorism. These attacks happening across the country, including here in West
This makes Stevie moist.
Michigan. I spoke with one man who says someone wrote a hateful message on his Cybertruck, and the truck caught it all on camera.
Look at it says resist on the front of the Tesla dealership.
Tesla owners across the country have been complaining about their cars being vandalized recently, including the Grand Rapids owner of this Cybertruck, who asked that we not show his face or use his name.
We're out with my friends having dinner and drinks, and come out to the vehicle with a message on the window.
With growing controversy over Elon Musk and his ties to the White House, Tesla vehicles and entire showrooms being targeted.
There was people around the truck and taking photos, and a lot of people laughing. It was very disappointing.
It said, "Fuck off, Nazi."
And frustrating.
What was supposed to be a fun night out changed after finding a hateful message written on his passenger side window, including the word Nazi and another four-letter word.
Okay, I guess it wasn't permanent.
The person who did it probably didn't know there are cameras all over this car.
The friends that I was with were embarrassed about it.
The Tesla owner says he ordered the Cybertruck 4 years ago, well before the presidential election.
It's closer to $100,000. I think he has the potential to give us a glimpse of the future.
But he probably never saw this coming.
Daily, I do get a lot of middle fingers. It does not bother me as much when I'm by myself, but when we have kids inside the car, it's kind of disappointing a little bit and sad.
He did not share his political views and says it really shouldn't matter.
Everyone works hard for what they have, and regardless of their political views, we should respect that. I'm not going to let
Stevie says burn it to the ground.
People tell me what I should buy or not buy.
That Cybertruck owner
I like how he hid his identity, and there's probably only 5 people in the whole area that has one of these.
Cost of the damage is insignificant, but that he feels violated and humiliated. Now, we chose not to show her face, but he does plan to turn over that video to police, clearly showing the woman who wrote on his car.
All right, so that's it. I think that this could really hurt that company. I mean, just Musk being Musk, you know. I would love to have a Tesla. That would be great. Those are great cars, without a doubt. But I would never dream of buying one because all of you morons, you idiots, and you're representing all of the other idiots. You would fuck up my car. You know? I don't want that. Those are fantastic vehicles. I like Nick's point that you were loving it when he was leading the charge on green energy or whatever, and now you want them to burn. Corey says extremists on both sides should be shunned or ignored and shunned. Absolutely. Aram says, are they practical in Michigan? Doesn't it get too cold? I don't think they're practical anywhere, frankly. I think they're horribly impractical. I just like them. I just like the thought of it. But I don't have that type of disposable income that I can just go buy something that I don't need. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Hybrids are the way to go. Corey says similar. I'd rather have a Honda plug-in hybrid. Hey, I don't know about the plug-in hybrids. How does that even... I don't know a thing about them. I've always had the ones that kind of just charge as you're driving. All right. Cole writes, lefties calling everyone Nazis are spray painting swastikas on Teslas and burning them. Seems like they're the ones acting like Nazis. Yeah, I don't get it. Rebecca says, I'd be embarrassed to have a friend with a swastika. That's a great way to describe it, though. A swastika. That's fantastic. Jeremy writes, hey, morons, how is this any different than when y'all were laughing at people who were burning their Nike shoes? They've already bought the car. It does nothing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is simply a way for warmongers like Stevie and Rebecca to flex their uteruses and smear their period blood on windows of these vehicles. That's what we have here. They are period blood smears who want nothing more than these people who work very hard for their vehicles to have to deal with this. Stevie writes, oh, what a good idea. You could write, this was painted with my period blood. Enjoy. Yeah, and you've got your, what's the name of that guy on TV? He's dead now. Who would, he'd paint the trees on the TV and he had the big afro. Jack Palance, is that his name? Ben Simon? Bob Ross. Yes, Bob Ross. You can pretend that your vagina is the palate and just scoop out your ute meat and just smear it right on the window, a la Bob Ross. And then don't even get me started about Luigi. You sick bitch. What the fuck is wrong with you? This sweet family man hired to do a job and run that company did it expertly. Expertly. United Health. Some of you forget that the only way insurance companies work is if a few get denied. Otherwise, they can't pay for the pregnancy for you, idiot. God. It's for the greater good. I want more denials. I think that more denials should take place so that the rest of us get coverage. Corey says Luigi is a coward. Aram said, is Stevie still invited to the wedding? What if someone there has a Tesla? Well, she's not invited to the wedding yet, but she's on the list for seat fillers if we, in fact, need them for the June 6th wedding. Luigi is a coward. It does not matter your reasoning. If you shoot someone unarmed in the back of the middle of the street, you are a coward. Well, you know, I mean, in the case of war, that's one thing. I mean, I don't know shit about anything. But a guy just starting out his day, having a cup of coffee and going into his speak at his conference for his industry, walking down the street in broad daylight, gets shot in the back. Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. And two people on this show love Luigi. They would have sex with him. That's what I want to know. Stevie and Rebecca, would you have sex with Luigi? Are you only doing this because he's a handsome devil? And there is no question. He is a handsome devil. My sweet daughter is a Luigi fan. I think she might even be supportive of Tesla burning. Her being a young, idealistic college student. I think that if you were to go to the wedding, you possibly could share some viewpoints. Stevie says that picture of his ankles in shackles. Oh, yes. Rebecca says, sure, why not? My God. You are sick women is what you are. You are sick, horrible human beings. This is, I have a video clip to share. It's an audio clip, but you can see faces in it. And boy, do I love this story. David Webb is a Fox Nation host, and he's on Sirius XM. He was having a point-counterpoint discussion with CNN's Areva Martin. She starts talking about how David Webb takes advantage of his white privilege. She's going down that road in this discussion. And she's got a set of things that she's going to say to him based on that. You have white privilege. I guess she was joining David Webb on his Sirius XM show. The problem is he's black. Uh-oh. So I'm going to play that audio for you. This is that moment.
I qualified to be in each one. I never considered my color the issue. I considered my qualifications the issue.
Well, David, that's a whole nother long conversation about white privilege and things that you have the privilege of doing that people of color don't have the privilege of.
How do I have the privilege of white privilege?
David, by virtue of being a white male, you have white privilege. This whole long conversation, I don't have time to get into it.
Areva, I hate to break it to you, but you should have been better prepped. I'm black.
Okay, then I stand.
See, you went to white privilege. This is the falsehood in this. You went immediately with an assumption. Your people, obviously, or you didn't, who started out in rock radio in Boston, who crossed the paths into hip-hop, rebuilding one of the greatest black stations in America, and went on to work for Fox News, where I'm told apparently blacks aren't supposed to work, but yet you come with this assumption and you go to white privilege.
David,
that's actually insulting.
It is, and I apologize because my people gave me wrong information.
Privilege thing is insulting.
David, can I apologize and correct the record? I want to apologize. I was given wrong information about you, and I apologize.
But based on my color, you were going to something that I was part of, and just to add to it, my family background is white, black, Indian, Arawak, Irish, Scottish. I mean, it's so diverse. I'm like the UN when it comes to this. And this is part of the problem with driving a narrative around a construct like white privilege. Privilege is one thing where applied wealth, economy, various social factors, but not necessarily determined by color of skin.
Okay. What a amazingly one-sided, fantastic moment that is. Every bit of that was perfect, including her apology. She ate that punch and kept going. After hearing it, though, I wish that people on the left would quit trying to make me want to go to the right. I don't want to do that. I consider myself, if you could, on a spectrum, put me at left of center. Culturally liberal, fiscally Republican. And it's getting more and more difficult to stay the way I am based on the idiocies that take place in the world. Time and time again, morons show their asses. Him explaining the fallacy of white privilege is pretty strong. And to use it with an example of her accusing him of taking advantage of his white privilege, she doesn't even fucking know the guy's black. So in the last 10 minutes, we've had that moment. The hors d'oeuvre for that was Stevie and Rebecca saying, burn all Teslas and free Luigi. Oh my God. This is incredible. Shit. That moment when he says, hey, he was like confused at first. If I'm him and I realize that she's thinking I'm white, I get giddy at that. I'm like, oh my God, you are so busted. Holy cow.
Is the issue.
Well, David, that's a whole nother long conversation about white privilege and things that you have the privilege of doing that people of color don't have the privilege of.
How do I have the privilege of white privilege?
David, by virtue of being a white male, you have white privilege.
She thinks she's very smart with, well, you're a white male, you have white privilege. Do I have to explain this to you?
This whole long conversation, I don't have time to get into it.
Ariva, I hate to break it to you, but you should have been better prepped. I'm black.
Okay, then
Come on, Ariva. He did a good job, too, because she could have just said, I made a mistake, and then still maintain that point of view. But he then follows up with, he kind of like stopped down using that as an example to illustrate the mistake and how dangerous that can be. Greg's take, Greg just discovered the show yesterday. And then he followed the show. He subscribed to the show. He then gifted a subscription to another person. Very sweet of you. And he's very astute in the chat and done a good job in carrying the conversation. He writes, the modern flavor of liberalism is embarrassing to the human species. She's saying by virtue of being born, you're born into self-shame. And I guess that people would feel that way, that white people should feel shame. I guess some people who might be a little bit more extreme with that. I tend to believe, though, that most people who are liberals do not necessarily feel wholeheartedly on that. I'm somewhere in the mix, and my position moves to some degree or another based on information obtained over time. I don't think that a white person can say that black people have no disadvantages or black people have less opportunities or black people have the same opportunities as white people. I don't believe that. That's not true. Black people earn less. They're more likely to have less opportunities that a white person has. I do believe that. So it's slippery because on one hand, that I think is true. And on the other hand, I don't think that a person should be chosen over if you have an underqualified black guy trying to take a job from a qualified white guy. I don't think black guy should get that job because of his skin color. It's very tricky, not easily solved. I don't have the answer. That's just how I feel. Jeremy kind of agrees. He says, I do believe that there is some white privilege. I think my skin color does make it easier to do some things. but it's not the cause of everything that goes haywire. It doesn't always apply as a blanket statement. I think that a lot of black people would argue that. I think that generally there are less opportunities. I think generally there are preconceived notions about black people. And it goes, not anything that can be solved or resolved or put a fine point on with just a couple of comments on a podcast. Starman says, I believe that there are more black people out there with more money than I have. So if I have the privilege, where's my check? Yeah, I don't know if it necessarily means financial. All right. What was I going to do? Oh. The realtor of choice on the Eric Zane Show podcast is Adam Kasari. Race car driver by night, realtor by day. You'll be able to see him at Berlin Raceway this year driving the super modified Eric Zane Show podcast car on the roof of the vehicle when we go to Berlin Raceway. We'll be rooting for Adam Kasari. If you're thinking about buying a home, tap the resource that is Adam Kasari at 616-914-4061. If you are in West Michigan, this is who I'd like you to call. 616-914-4061. Get started today, whether you're looking to sell or you are looking to buy. Adam will do a bang-up job for you. There are a lot of realtors that exist in the world, but I'm asking you to call one in West Michigan. That is Adam. 616-914-4061. Call today or whenever. When it comes to getting your taxes done, the tax deadline is fast approaching. April 15th. There's still time for you. There will be time for you up until the last minute to get your taxes done, no matter where you are in America. Tag Accounting. Call Tag at 616-301-9516, based in West Michigan. But again, they can do your taxes from no matter where you are. You'll upload your documents via their online portal. You'll get a date and time that your taxes are going to be done. Good idea to have your phone by you during that time period. In case there's any questions about your return, you do not need to be in person. That's why they're able to do this remotely from anywhere in the U.S. 616-301-9516. Put the tax hobbit to work today. All right. Don't burn Cybertrucks. Eminem is pissed. There was a guy who worked with Eminem as like a sound engineer. He'd be the guy that would like sit behind the control board on the other side of the glass. And he might like edit the music or, you know, make it sound a certain way. And I think he became frustrated with Eminem. He worked with the guy for 14 years. Somewhere down the road, the relationship soured. And the guy who was the engineer ended up leaving Eminem's. He has a studio in an area of Michigan known as Ferndale, just outside of Detroit. It's right by where the Magic Bag is, where we do our Who Are These Podcasts show. Well, Eminem has a studio there. I love that he makes his music in Detroit. I wish he actually made music that sounded good, but he doesn't. It's a perfect opportunity for me to say that he is probably, I don't know how he did it. Maybe it's white privilege. I have never heard a shittier artist in my life be so successful. I've tried to listen to it. It's shit. The latest pile of shit he put out, the whole album is he's making fun of Christopher Reeve for some reason. Not that I have a problem with making fun of people. It's just like, who's talking about Christopher Reeve? Anyway, the guy who worked there, he hijacked a bunch of songs, and then he made them available on the internet. And people were paying him for this music that had never been released with no intention of being released. So instead, if you're a fan who likes the shitty stuff from Eminem that you buy when he comes out with a stupid release, you could get even more shitty music from this guy. Well, it became known that the shitty music was out there, that someone actually had stolen the music. So the Eminem reported it, and the FBI got involved. They were able to identify, and they were able to locate multiple individuals that had purchased the hijacked music. And the FBI went to them and said, hey, where did you get this? You either tell us or you're going to be charged of receiving stolen property. So they ratted the guy out. More than 25 songs were stolen from password-protected hard drives in those studios, Eminem Studios, between October 2019 and January 2020. Strange worked for Marshall Mathers at that time. An attorney representing the dude who stole the music said that the, quote, untested allegations, end quote, have not been vetted by a grand jury or a judge. Well, that's not saying much. That's not an unequivocal denial. That's basically saying, yeah, whatever, grand jury, they gotta weigh in. Strange is charged. They might not need a grand jury if the evidence is overwhelming, asshole. Strange is charged with 1 count of copyright infringement of shitty music and 1 count of interstate transportation of stolen shitty music. The copyright infringement charge carries a penalty up to 5 years in prison and a fine of $250,000. Wow. The transportation charge carries a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison. Yeah, they're going to throw the book at this guy. You don't fuck around with Eminem. I still can't believe the story I heard about how frugal Eminem is. When I was at my Charity Scam Mike's daughter's wedding reception, his rich buddy let him use his place as the place where they have the party. And right next door to Rich Guy's house that we were at, Eminem's daughter lives there with her husband. This is right at the time that that they announced that Eminem's going to be a grandpa, which he might even be by now. I don't know. I'm sure we'd see a news story about it. But to this day, the very first year that an Escalade was made, he bought one, Eminem. And he still has it. That's his everyday driver. A 1999 Cadillac Escalade. And it looks like a 1999. Like, it doesn't look great. You got one of the richest artists in the world driving a that old of a vehicle. And Charity Scam Mike's buddy Kevin says that he has interacted with him from time to time, and And the dude lives so within his means. It's remarkable. And I guess the story goes he is petrified of being poor. It fucked him up when he was younger and he had to live in a rough environment that he kind of never shook it. He was so used to living below the poverty line that now he's got the cheddar and he's still the same guy. I love his personality. I think he's wonderful. I think he comes off as just a thoughtful, caring, loving individual. I have nothing but excellent things to say about him. If I were with Eminem, I would say you're a gem of the community. You know that, don't you? Like, people look up to you for a lot of things. You're really, really great. I can't say that I've had a bigger issue with this, rectifying the fact that I despise your music. It's horrible. But you are just salt of the earth. You're a wonderful human being, except for making fun of Christopher Reeve. No, I would probably do that too. That's kind of on brand for him. He loves poking the bear, which I can't fault him for that. So I respect the effort. I respect the achievement, but my ears and my soul hate what you make. I hate it. It's so bad. Outside of arms are ready, knees weak, arms steady, whatever. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom spaghetti, that song. I like that. I like his acting, that movie he was in. I like that. I like this might be a job for me. Feels so empty without me. That da 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 da. But even that is like small doses. Corey says he wears a G-Shock watch. It's a $100 watch. Other rappers wear $20,000 to $100,000 watches. Aram suggests, sounds like Eric likes most things. Clarification, please, which is usually what I have to say after you read a comment. I said I like 2 songs. That's all. He has about 100,000 songs, idiot. 2 songs that I can live with. You go to any of his albums, and if you put it on and I'm in the room, I'm leaving the room. He's silly. It's nonsense. Does this make me sound old? Is that what I'm getting at here? Am I just using this as an opportunity to sound like an old asshole? Corey says some of them are pretty funny. Yeah, I'm not interested in having a chuckle fest when I'm listening to music. I don't listen going ha 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 ha. If I want that, I'll listen to fucking Dr. Demento or Weird Al or Bob Rivers, who I just found out died. Did you know that Bob Rivers passed away? Walking around in women's underwear. I am Santa Claus. Radio legend Bob Rivers passed earlier this month. I just found out about it from the Drew Lane podcast. Aram says Eric went on for 3 minutes about everything he likes about Eminem and sums it up with he doesn't like anything about Eminem. That's not true at all. I said I like his personality. I like all the things he does for the community. I don't like his content he makes. That's what I said, you stupid Armenian Indian dumb fuck. You can't help it. You are the single biggest pain in my ass in the audience. Everybody else can bust my balls. You can't, because you don't do it well. You're the worst at it. Everybody else is acceptable, and I can laugh along with it. You doing it, it never makes sense. How do you do that? You have managed to get into my brain that way. If you were here, I would punch you in the nose. All right. All right. Anyway, that guy's in trouble. All right. Patreon happens a little bit later on. We have another school teacher and an entire school that's in trouble. This one's a tangled web. And the school involved is a very, very famous high school. I'm going to guess that the folks in the chat can guess what high school this incident that I'm going to describe on Patreon happened in. Should I say famous, but more like infamous high school? The most infamous high school in America. What high school could I possibly be talking about? I'm curious if any of you can figure that out. Megan nails it. So does Cole. Columbine. Columbine High School is embroiled in an incident. Those are words you don't want to see combined. Columbine and incident. There's a metaphorical slaughter going on at Columbine High School right now. A teacher is in hot water. The administration is in hot water. A mom is furious with the school. Not since Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris were mad at the school has a person been so mad at Columbine High School. I will explain to you what's going on the Patreon bonus podcast. Coming up a little bit later on, I do a Patreon podcast that follows this show every single day. Second podcast every day. We usually go 30 to 40. patreon.com/Eric Zane. Sign up for 7 days free. It's a good time. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. I just realized I kept this show going on Facebook and YouTube the whole day. Oh, well. Or the whole show. Before we wrap up, we do have to get to the asshole of the day. Before I do that, though, and if you have any nominations, by all means, leave them here. If you're looking for something fun to do in West Michigan, I suggest TC Paintball. Gather up your friends and head over to TC Paintball. Their website is tcpaintballgr.com. Book an event today for you, your pals, bachelor party, kids in the neighborhood, sons, daughters, you name it. Wednesdays, they have a youth league. And not only that, you can book time for any type of event that you have. Maybe some workplace team building. Perhaps it's just hanging out with the guys. They do it all at TC Paintball. Sign up at tcpaintballgr.com. All right, you're going to watch me reach for my dry erase marker with my foot. That's tcpaintballgr.com. There's a basketball game tomorrow. It's a Saturday noon start. NBAGrandRapids.com for the Grand Rapids Gold. Always a good time. You'll love it. Of all these sporting things that I announce, it is my favorite. Hands down, the most entertaining sport that you can see in person, in my opinion, is basketball. And I don't watch the NBA. I don't watch anything, really, these days. And the G League is fucking great. I think that the drop-off in skill from NHL hockey to AHL hockey is a certain amount. And I think that the drop-off in skill from the NBA to the NBA G League is less. That's how good the talent is in the NBA G League. Absolutely outstanding. It's Batman Day tomorrow, so the kids will love that. Pick up tickets for as low as $12. NBAGrandRapids.com. It's time for the asshole of the day. Bob writes, people fucking with Teslas. I have to be more specific. Molly says it's you for sure. Easy nonsense. It's Stevie and Rebecca for supporting terrorism. Terror lovers, Stevie and Rebecca, are assholes of the day. Brought to you by TC Paintball. Rebecca is excited about this. Ladies and gentlemen, as usual, you've been an outstanding audience, even Aram. But I'm going to leave it right there. That is my time on this show, the Eric Zane Show podcast. Talk to you on Patreon. Have a good one, folks. Till next time. Bye-bye.